What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Fresh off of Beautiful Thugger Girls, Young Thug appears to be working on Barter 7. This news comes from producer Weezy, who works closely with Thug, and he posted on Instagram a picture of the two in the studio with the caption Barter 7. So we know that Thug at least wants to do this project. I'm not saying that it's going to be the next one that he releases. It could be a while away, but it is something that will appear to be happening. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. When you think about like Barter 6, there are two things that come to mind. One is that it was an extraordinary body of work. It was probably one of the best Young Thug projects that he's ever done, if not the best. And two was the controversy surrounding it. Originally, it was going to be called Barter 5 or the Carter 5. I don't even remember now. It's been so far removed that I can't remember if he's actually going to try to steal the Carter name. I think that was the case. So he wanted to do Carter, and then he switched it to Barter, and then he switched it to 6 and all that. So there was a lot of controversy surrounding that. And I think that was a huge part of the marketing. Thug and his team knew that people were going to tune in and hear this controversy. And even more so than that, I think people were kind of expecting him to throw some shots at Lil Wayne in the music. I think that's another reason why people tuned in. But what they ended up getting was an amazing body of work. So the question is, will he be able to duplicate that situation? I don't think so. I think the shock value of like the Barter controversy and all that is so far removed. So it's not going to have the same effect that Barter 6 did. And it kind of sucks in a way, because I feel like Young Thug constantly gets the short end of the stick from his label. 300 and Atlantic Records, they don't really give him an album rollout. With Beautiful Thugger Girls, it was announced in April. He said it was coming that week. It didn't come. And we heard nothing about it until like the week of, in June, when it finally came out. So it's like Atlantic and 300, they're not putting money into rolling out a proper album for Young Thug. And again, that does suck, because it feels like Young Thug is one of the most talked about hip hop rappers today. And I don't think anybody can deny that, but the numbers don't reflect that. You look at all his album sales, and they kind of just hit like a plateau. It's like right around like the 20,000 to 30,000 range every time, despite the fact that it feels like Young Thug is getting bigger as an artist. So it's probably a difficult situation with the label, because if they're putting out these projects with no marketing or anything, and they're not getting any bigger despite Thug getting bigger as an artist, then it's kind of like Atlantic and 300 are like, do we want to put money into this? Again, I don't know the situation at the label, but that is something that I would expect them to think about. They're not just going to shell out money for every artist. They want to see that this artist is worth the time. Now, do I feel like Young Thug would sell more with a proper rollout? Absolutely. All these projects that he's been putting out are not labeled his debut album. They're more like retail mixtapes. So his debut album, which may or may not be titled High Tunes at this point, is something that needs like that proper rollout. I feel like that will be the one where Thug is able to do like double, maybe even triple what he's doing right now with these retail mixtapes. The thing about it is, though, Young Thug has to have like that hit. I feel like he can have that hit. He's capable of creating that, but I don't know when it'll happen. There's been songs like on Beautiful Thugger Girls, there's records on there that I think can impact radio, but it's all depending on what 300 and Atlantic wants to do. Young Thug can create, put out project after project, and sell the same amount of copies over and over again and be satisfied with his career. He can go out on tour and bring in 100,000, but the label is not going to see it the same way as Thug. Thug can make all his money, he'd be a millionaire, provide for his family, himself, and everybody around him, but if the label's not getting as much out of it, then they're not going to put their resources into it, is pretty much like the summary of what I'm talking about. So with Barter 7, I feel like we're going to get a repeat of every Thug project in the last 2 years. It's going to be one of the ones where everybody talks about it on social media, everybody loves it, but when the numbers come in, it's going to be around the same. And I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong in thinking that a proper album rollout would give him a boost in sales. It might give him like a small boost, or it could give him a big boost. We won't know until it actually happens. But like I said, I don't anticipate that happening until his actual debut album, whenever that's supposed to come out. I'm sure Barter 7 will be a great album. I don't know if it will top Barter 6. I think there's a lot of pressure on there, but Thug tends to work well with pressure. Like I talked about with the controversy of Barter 6, I feel like Thug knew that so many eyes and ears were going to be on him that he pushed himself to create the best material of his career thus far. And so maybe he'll have like a similar situation trying to one-up himself, trying to create something that's better than Barter 6. But we won't know until it actually comes out, and who knows if it's going to come out this year, next year. It might be an idea that eventually gets scraped. Who knows? All we know is that Weezy Beats said that Young Thug is working on Barter 7, and so it'll come when it comes, or it won't come at all. So those are my thoughts on the announcement of Young Thug working on Barter 7. And then like my analysis of Young Thug's career. I feel like that took center stage for the video, but it is an important part of Barter 7 and how it will be marketed and what it will do for him as an artist. And so I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Do you think doing Barter 7 is a smart idea or not? And where do you see Thug's career going with this project in the next 2 years? Do you think he's destined to be that big superstar and he's just like at a slow burn of his career? Or do you feel like he's hit his peak and, that's all he's going to be in his career, is just at this level? Talk to me in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.